The need to encourage inclusion in our education system cannot be overemphasized. While majority of differently abled come from low-income communities, many have had challenges to access an equal and inclusive education. But efforts made by the Zambian and Austrian parliamentarians has added significant value to the education support children should receive across the country by establishing a peer partnership that was established in 2017, focusing on the implementation of SDG number 4, which borders around quality education. Day 1 of the fact-finding mission in Chipata began with a courtesy call to Chipata Central Member of Parliament, Moses Maweri, who is also Minister of Youth, Sport and Child Development.
We are greatly delighted and honored to join you to be part of this inspection visit, as we have alluded to, of the projects that are being implemented to assist children with disabilities here in Eastern Province, to be precise, Chipata and Chadiza, with the support from the European Union, the Austrian Development Agency, and SOS International. I am delighted to note that this project, which is entitled Effective Inclusion and Participation for Children with Disabilities in Quality Education, Health and Social Services in Zambia, is impacting positively on children that are living with disabilities in areas where it is being implemented here in Eastern Province. I have alluded to Chipata here, which is just nearby here, and also Chadiza. Delegation leader, you may wish to note that the situation of children living with disabilities here in Zambia is not very pleasing. And for instance, most children living with disabilities in Zambia are facing challenges in accessing quality education, health and other amenities which we can think of. Most schools, for example, are not user-friendly for children living with disabilities. This is mostly because of the way we have structured our schools. You'll find that schools, the way they have been structured, they are very difficult for people living with disabilities to access certain facilities. For example, classrooms. Some of them, they are story buildings, so for them to go to upper rooms, it becomes very difficult for them to go there. Sometimes libraries, in most cases, I don't know who designs these libraries. In most cases, you find them they are up rooms, which is also become very difficult. Dining halls is also a challenge.
The work is being done within the framework of the North-South Dialogue of Parliament projects, financed by the Austrian Development Agency and the province of Upper Austria. A fruitful meeting of interactions gave the delegation a clear picture of some of the challenges on the ground.
You know, are from the age from 3 up to 6. And most of our children do actually go to kindergarten. And already at this age, we find out which child needs special support and help. And then, obviously, we have the records already there.
They give at primary school are actually only done by respective schools. They are not uniform because they are not policy. Policy issue clearly states that every child, now it doesn't say able or disabled, it says every child has the right to entry of school at the age of 7.
On the table for their children, they can also buy a few things so that their children are able to go to school. They also need assistive devices. Like we have seen, some are not able to talk, some are not able to hear, and some need wheelchairs and the like. And in terms of schools, there is need, of course, for us to spearhead, if at all there is a budget line, spearhead access to schools. Almost all the schools in Chipata, or the whole country, if you want, do not have ramps for these children.
The team from Austria visited Zambia, particularly in Eastern Province, with an aim to find out more about the plight of the differently abled children in Zambia. The delegation was invited by SOS Village Chipata to learn more about the awareness-raising work in the district, which is co-financed by the Austrian Development Agency and SOS Village in Austria.
Very, very interesting. We got a lot of insights what the problems are for families with disabled children here.
With regards to the vocational skills mission, an endeavor on job creation for our Zambian youth was organized, built around moving from challenges to actions. Day 2, however, was more practical and revealing for the entire delegation.
It's been a very revealing experience, and in a very special way. I would like to thank the Austrian Development Agency. I would like to thank the European Union that are actually supporting the differently abled in this project. What we've seen has actually revealed a lot to us. The parents are just opening up to bring their children that are differently abled to see that they could also be helped and appreciate them as children in their homes, because most of them, we've been told actually, we're even hiding these children from the society. So Mr. Miova, who's the programs coordinator in Chipata, has actually opened up, and they have a team of paralegal, those that go out to locate case by case through the churches, through the communities, and they're doing a commendable job. So far, in the 7 months that they've been on the ground, they've actually had contact with more than 500 children who are differently abled. And they've challenged us as a parliament to actually bring the disabled policy to the House, which has been stuck at the Ministry of Justice. You know, we pray that it could come so soon, sooner than later, because unless we have the policies for these differently abled children, their rights actually are denied because we have nothing to work with. And I would like to thank my counterparts from Austria for having chosen Zambia. It is very humbling, and we are honored as a country. We pray that all these cases actually could be taken on seriously and we move on. We also give them their rights. They have a right to education, they have a right to health, they have a right to a decent life. So the community development also, Ministry of Community Development, should come on board. I want to know, maybe as chair of the peer group, what criteria do they use when they're actually finding those that they want to help in the communities? Because if a family like Charles and Brian could be left out, then what criteria do they use? Would appreciate actually if those who are really in need are found in the communities, and the little that they need to offer to the children.
Guest workers that have been working on various cases involving children had an overwhelming experience to share their challenges to the team.
Then the preparation was done. January, the mother took the child to the school. So that's how the head teacher gave him the class. So what happened, the teacher to that class, she denied this child to say that we can't teach this child because he's disabled. He should be taken to the special schools. So the mother complained to the head teacher. Then the teacher said, I can't teach this one.
So what I would urge, because we can be dealing with case by case, you know how many districts we have in Zambia, there are so many. So the Zambia Association for People with Disabilities, make sure that you have strong linkages with Parliament. Here, our two honorable members are members of the Parliamentary Committee on Education. All these educational issues, like we have said, should come before the Parliamentary Committee on Education. And you yourselves, the Zambia Association for People with Disabilities and other stakeholders, including the children themselves, should come as witnesses to Parliament.
For others, the experience was extraordinarily exciting, considering the fact that it was the very first time to visit the country.
And it's the first time for me here in Zambia, and it was very interesting to see what the opportunities are, what the problems are, and our project is regarding disabled children here in Zambia, in Chipata, and it's nice to see how they like the project and they start empowering themselves, and that's a really good project here for SOS-Kinderdorf.
The experience here has been really special. On the one hand, it's my first time in Zambia, and to learn and understand how politics works here, but also which impact impact MPs have here and interact with them. That was super interesting for me. On the other hand, also visiting here, for example, the SOS project, which is funded by the Austrian government, and it has been super interesting to see on the ground.
There are good projects, really working well. People are encouraged. People are getting encouraged, do advocacy. So really good things happen here. It's the task for the honorable members here in Zambia to put that on the political agenda in the National Assembly. And it's your task to do this advocacy in the field. And I think it's really a great project. And thank you for the insights, and thank you for showing us where problems are still. And yeah.
After visiting one rural community in one of the group work sessions chaired by Honorable Dr. Jonas Chanda, the experts defined ways on how to better support for children with special needs. Dr. Jonas Chanda, being an expert in the medical field, had also advised referring critical cases to the university teaching hospital located in the capital city.
So from the Austrian side, I think we want them to see, like this family that we have seen here, they seem to have a hereditary condition, a genetic, something we are born with. The children are born normally, after a short time, they all become disabled, weakness of muscles, and maybe even the nerves are affected. They are confined to the wheelchair. So like we've seen this vulnerable, very poor family. So what we are trying to do from the Zambian side is to ensure that these children, this family is referred for specialist care to UTH, the University Teaching Hospital, where we have specialist care, the neurologists, where they can get the help that they need. Although it's a genetic condition, so you have to manage it, you can't treat it.
During the visit to Chipata, Honorable Patricia, chairperson of the entire delegation and member of parliament for Katuba constituency, vividly said it is important to create a conducive learning environment for the children with special needs. And Miyoba Hamuma, who is director of the Disability Inclusion Project, has spoken on behalf of the differently abled.
In the first place, I feel that, because I am like that, I'm where I am now. And I said earlier on, without education, it becomes a double disability. I'm now able to interact with you as members of parliament because I went to school. So when those children, they see me, they also see hope in me. I believe that, a child with a disability, they have got a voice. All that they need is a platform. Give them the platform. So they would want to say their story. And now what we do with that story. And that's why we are so grateful to people like you, Seit Development Agency, for coming on board. Because honestly speaking, we have to make a very, very positive change in the lives of children with disabilities.
The Austrian delegation members are equally convinced that the North-South dialogue of the Parliament's Partnership program can have a positive effect on the implementation of SDG 4, which is on quality education in Zambia. Different stakeholders such as representatives from ministries, CSOs, universities and TVETA have been key partners. Zambia has over 3,000 community schools. The delegation visit to one of the community schools brings hope in many of these children. A visit to Zok's Open Community School in Chipata compound, to the School of Engineering at the University of Zambia, and later a meeting with the Minister of Higher Education, Professor Kanduluo, wrapped up all activities at a very good note. From the mission, it is important to note that boys and girls, especially the differently abled, want to be productive members of society. In both developed and developing countries, promoting more inclusive societies require improved access to basic education and vocational training skills relevant to the labor market.